Now that we've got a basic presentation put together, it's time to go ahead and start adding some features that make your presentation stand apart from the rest, and really is probably the most fun part of creating the presentation, definitely for students. Well, a couple of just quick things to be aware of. I had said originally when we began to create our presentation that if you wanted to ever change the background from what you originally chose to something new, something a little more fancy perhaps, you're going to want to go up to this background link. And when I do that, it's going to go ahead and allow me to change the background color to new color. It'll do that individually, or I can apply that to all. So take it from the original white background to a green one. I'm going to go ahead and push reset right here, and I can close that as well. I can also change the theme also. The themes were available at the very beginning, and I went with a simple light to begin with, but if I wanted to spice it up with something else, I'm going to go ahead and grab wave down here and press the OK button to apply that. It takes a moment to apply it, but it's going to go ahead and change it over from what you had to what you have now. And it'll also, some of the different changes will be reflected in the fonts as well as some of the placements of the text areas. Each theme has its own font already associated with it. You can always go back and change that like we looked last time. Or the original fonts and sizes and things like that. If I scroll down, you'll notice that each slide has changed to reflect the new theme. Well, some of the things that we're going to want to add to make this presentation a bit more creative, I'm going to start by going to the Insert Pull menu. And one option they've got is Word Art. When I click on Word Art, it's going to go ahead and bring up a text field. Where I can go ahead and type in anything that I'd like the word art to reflect. It could be a new title, or it could be really any text area you'd want to be on the presentation there. When you're done typing in the information, I'm going to go ahead and press return to put the word art in there. And then the word art's just a little bit different. It's bolder. You can also change the word art font as well. I can go ahead and make it bold. I'm going to go ahead and double click and change some of the different styles or the colors we've got there. With the word art highlighted, I'm going to go up to the pull menus, just below the pull menus to some of the quick features. I'm going to go ahead and click on the paint bucket here. And because now it's not really a text area, but it's sort of a text and a image area, it doesn't necessarily say text color, but the paint bucket there is now going to change the color within the word art there. So I went from the default lighter blue to sort of this purple here. And because it's more like an image now, or an object rather than just text, I can stretch the word art. I can also shrink it up from side to side there. And you'll notice at the top middle of the text area, or of the word art area, there's the little round handle there, and that allows us to change the positioning of there, to just kind of give it a little different of a feel. Just by changing it a little bit there, it kind of has a different, just a different take on the words there. I think it's really nice. I think it's something that allows your presentation to have a whole different feel to it. It's flashier, it's fancier. With that highlight, I can also go up to the font choices there, and I can change it to any font that's corresponding with the theme that I'm using now, or whatever else I'd like to use. Sometimes they're just not going to work, so it's good to always have a backup that's ready to go. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and move down to my second slide. Over on the left-hand slide with my slide viewer, I'm going to go ahead and just click right down here. And some other nice options that Google Presentation offers, as other presentation software would, is the ability to bring in images to support whatever you've got for your presentation. I'm going to go down to here and choose image, and it'll allow me several different options as far as linking or putting an image into the presentation. I'm going to go ahead and upload an image from my computer's hard drive or my computer's desktop. I'm going to go to the middle and choose an image to upload. And it just brings up for my Macintosh the Finder window where I'm able to go ahead and find whatever image I'd like to put in. And I've got just a quick picture here on an erosion poster that was made by one of my students. And I'll go ahead and open that up. The upload progress bar will give you an indication of how long it'll take. The smaller the image, the less time it'll take to get in there. And this was a fairly large picture that I had uploaded, so it has gone ahead and it went ahead and just took up the entire place of the slide there. I'm just going to grab the handles and move that around. And now I've got my picture ready to put wherever I need on the slide. The red positioning arrows are going to go ahead and let me know when it's centered directly in the middle. It'll also let me know if it's lined up with the text areas, as you can see. Actually, it's a little hard to see with this particular green background, but on the left-hand side, and now over here the right-hand side, the red guidelines will let me know when the image is lined up with the sides of the text areas, the text boxes where it says graphic area for slide 2, or when it's in there. So the more objects you start to put on a slide, the more of these guidelines that you'll start to see. So you just have to kind of figure out which guidelines you're going to use. Right now I'm using the one just straight in the middle there. I'm going to position this right about there. And it gives me those options that the WordArt had as well. I can also tilt this a little bit. I think it's kind of a fun way to bring an image in, sort of lets it stand apart. Just gives you some more creativity. It just gives you some more abilities to create a presentation and have it look the way that you would like it to look. Another powerful tool to use with a presentation is that of video. I'm going to go ahead and move down to slide number 3 now, and over my slide viewer I'm down on slide 3, and to reflect that I'm just going to go ahead and jump into the title area of my slide and just change the text at the top there. Remember we had duplicated our master slide, or our slide we'd like to see created over and over and over to allow students less time having to create individual slides and more time to actually put their presentation and get that together, and then also worry about the creative aspect of it as well. I'm going to go back to the insert menu, and this time I'm going to go all the way down to video here. Now unfortunately Google's presentation is limited to the video, to the abilities to insert video. You don't have the ability to choose a .mov or a Flash file. It's limited to YouTube, which if you do a lot of work with YouTube and do a lot of uploading with YouTube, that would be great. There's a lot of great videos out there that are at YouTube as well that could help support the teaching that you're trying to do, or what your message is, your presentation. By default, it goes to the video search, so it gives us a search engine within the YouTube there. Unless you already have something in mind that's already uploaded on YouTube, whether it's a video of yours or one that you've found before. If you have one in mind and you're ready to go, I would just go ahead and click the URL, and that means you can just go ahead and paste your YouTube URL or web address right there. I've already copied a URL from a YouTube video, one of the YouTube videos that we've just recently seen for this course, and I'm going to go ahead and paste that in there. And it'll give you a preview of what the video should be, also allowing you to press play to make sure that that's the video that you in fact want. When you've decided that that's the video you want, you'll go ahead and press select, and that'll just put the video right in there. Once again, it's an object, so move it to where you want it to be. Being a video, you may want it to be centered and ready to go. As we begin to add more objects within the slides within the presentation there, it's good to know that you can start to arrange these or layer these on top of each other, especially if there's multiple pictures or text areas that you want to be able to layer, bring text on top of images and so forth. At the top here within the browser's pull menus, we've got the arrange. And that is going to go ahead and give us the ability to order objects, align horizontally. They're actually all grayed out right now. As soon as I click on an object, everything will come will be ungrayed as far as what actions you would be able to perform with that object. So right now I can take my picture, and if I put it on top of my text there, I'm going to want to go ahead and go to arrange, order, and I might want to head and send that to the back. That way you can have text on top. Oops, I'm going to quickly edit, undo that maneuver, that action there. Edit, undo again, or the arrows right here that'll undo, or redo, which we talked about before. So this way you're able to go ahead and layer the different objects within your slide there, especially if you have using a picture as a background or a picture's taking up more area than you'd like. You'd like to keep the image there, but you'd like to have the words on top of it. Just start to be careful when you start to layer things on top of each other. You don't want it to be too busy. You don't want the message of your presentation lost due to the creative content that can kind of be overwhelming. So just start to think about what's important for the presentation, what's important for the message. It's really a good idea to constantly remind students about, when you're creating a presentation, the most important part of it is their message, their story, or what their idea is that they're trying to get across to their audience. Not so much about the colors and the crazy fonts, but I really like to remind my kids over and over and over about what is the point of a presentation, and that is to make sure you're expressing your ideas or getting your message to your audience. The last thing I'm going to talk to you today about are adding transitions to the slides and to the objects within the slides themselves. Over on the left-hand side, I'm now going to go down to slide number 4. And I think within the text area, I'm going to go ahead and add a list. I'm going to make this a bulleted list, so I think I'll go ahead and click on bulleted list and item 1. Item 2, item 3. I'm going to go ahead and click off of the text area, which is going to eliminate the font features that allows me to change everything up there. There's change fonts up there. And at the very end, when you really have nothing selected, sort of the default menu choices, we've got the Change Transition button. And when I click on that, over on the right-hand side, you're going to see the animations box come up. And right now it says slide no transition, and right now nothing has been applied to anything. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start to add transitions from one slide to the other, and then to the different text areas within the slides themselves. I'm going to go ahead and start by adding an animation to the bulleted list within my 4th slide here. And what I'm going to do with the text box highlighted is click on Add Animation. As soon as you click on that, it's going to give you several different choices as far as what kind of animation you'd like to add. And you get the choices of fade in and fade out, fly in, fly out, zoom in, zoom out, and spin. And you can preview all these before you decide which one you'd like to use. I'm going to go with fade in. And below we've got on click, and I'm somebody who likes to make sure I control the speed of the presentation, so I always keep that on click. The other choices are after previous or with previous, but I'm going to keep it on click, and I'm going to do it by paragraph, and you can also choose the speed as well, fast, medium, or slow. And then I'm going to go to the bottom of the animations right here where my target is. I'm going to go and push play just so I can see what it's going to look like. And then I control it because it's on click. And you can see how quickly the items will come in one at a time, giving you an idea of what fade in looks like and what the speed will look like, and you can adjust from there. I'm going to go ahead and now press stop. That'll get us out of the example, and if there's anything I want to change, I can go ahead and change that. You have to remember to apply any transition or any animation to a text area or to other objects, images, graphs, whatever you've got in there, by clicking on it, highlighting it, and then add the animation. When you want to work with a slide, and I went ahead and went up to my title slide for that, I'm going to click on the slide no transition, and below it's got the no transition pull menu. Google has very few transitions, which is good when you have kids that can't decide on what the perfect transition is. You'll still have a couple who takes a very long time picking the perfect one, but I'm just going to go ahead and choose fade. And let's go maybe with a medium speed. And then we also have the play. We're able to take a look and see what that's going to appear as when you go to play the presentation. And it just brings the slow fade in there. And if that's the transition you like, as you go from one slide to the next and from the next slide to the next slide, you can go ahead and just apply that to them all. I'm gonna also choose, I think my actual favorite is gallery. I'm gonna play that just to remind myself what it looks like. And I do like that. That's a good transition. It's a good slide. I like a little bit faster of a slide, so I'm going to go ahead, or transition. So I'm going to stop. I'm going to bring that up. You'll notice that the time appears on the slider right there. Now it's about 1.5 seconds. I'm going to have it at about 1 second. I like a good transition. I like to be able to see it, but I don't want to be seeing it for too long. Now I know I like that slide, so rather than applying that one at a time to each of my slides, I'm going to go ahead and apply to all. There's my target on there right now, pointing that out. And that's going to go ahead and put that transition on every one of my slides, so I don't have to worry about doing that over and over and over again. There we go. That's a good speed. Now that I've been doing a lot of changes, even though it's just test presentation and just kind of having fun with this, I'm going to go up to the View Pull menu. Target's pointing that out right here. And I'm going to take a look at the presentation just to see how it's all coming together. To view it, I'm going to click on Present, which with a Mac computer could also be a Command F5. And it's going to change over into my presentation. At the lower left-hand corner, you've got the presentation controls. You can flip from slide to slide. You can push play to have it play automatically. Full screen options, which you could bring up the speaker notes, which I'll talk about in just a moment here. Print it, download it as different options, or exit it. You can also press escape to exit. And now I'm just pressing either my mouse or the arrow keys to go through each slide one by one. I'm here at slide number 3, which had the video, and to play that for your audience, you would just go ahead and click play. Now that we've taken a look at Professor and have taken a... And I'm going to go ahead and press pause on that, moving to the next slide. One by one, the items came in on my bulleted points here. And now I'm going to go ahead and press escape to get out of the presentation. Okay. Now our presentation is complete in terms of being able to talk or being able to look at all the different features that we've got there. The next thing that we're going to look at is how to export these into different formats for different uses. Now that our presentation is done for all practical purposes as far as exploring the different features, the different abilities you've got with Google Presentation, it's time to go ahead and wrap it up, make sure everything's done, and then either export it or put it into a usable format for you to give to others, to present to others, to transport, whatever it is you need to do with it and where you want to get it to. A couple of final items. Before I'm done, I want to make sure that everything's in the correct order. If you find that any of your slides are not in the correct order, it's super easy to go ahead and move those around. Just by glancing here, maybe slide 3 and its information should have been up 1. You can just simply drag and drop slide 1 to where slide 2 was. And as you click and drag it up, there's a black line that'll appear and it'll let you know that you're moving the slide up and down. And then those changes will be reflected within the slide viewer on the left-hand side. At the bottom, there has been an area that allow you to create presenter notes where you can type quick notes to yourself. You can then have these notes appear on your computer while you're leading the presentation. That'll only appear on the computer screen and not on the output, not on a projector screen. That way you've got the notes for yourself there ready to go that the audience is not aware of. If speaker's notes are not something that you need, under the View pull menu, you can actually just turn those off by taking the check mark off of the under the Show Speaker Notes at the very bottom here. Now they're off. And I'm just going to leave them on. Well, now that your presentation may be done, what you'd want to do is think about what exactly you're going to be doing with this presentation. Is it going to be something that you'll be plugging into a projector and then presenting to an audience in a classroom, in an auditorium? Is it something that you're going to want to put into a web page or a blog, something you'd like to embed and then have available for people to look at online? Is it something you'd want to have printed off so people would have a hard copy? Other possibilities would be, would you want to put it into a PowerPoint format where people would be able to put it into PowerPoint and then edit it from there? Or even for yourself, if there were some features within a PowerPoint presentation in the PowerPoint presentation software that you really like that Google does not offer, you have the ability to get started in Google and then finish off in PowerPoint if you'd like. These options are listed under the File pull menu, and towards the bottom we've got the Download As, and that gives us lots of different choices. The first one being what we were just discussing a moment ago, is to download as a Microsoft PowerPoint. So it would actually export as a .pptx, and you can go ahead and open that up in Microsoft PowerPoint and continue to make any changes. You could also download this as a PDF, where you can go ahead and print it off, or if you need to package it up and send it off, it's a quick, easy format to do that. There's also other options as well, scalable vector graphics, PNG, JPEG, or plain text. I find myself actually exporting or downloading these as a PowerPoint file more often than not, so I'm able to then put it into a PowerPoint software and then continue editing, or it's been requested that I have a presentation put into a PowerPoint format. So I've got that ability right here. You can also publish this to the web. When you do want to publish it to the web, make it a web page or make it available online because it's already on the web, being a Google tool, you just have to push the Start Publishing button to get yourself started. And when you press that, it's going to go ahead and ask you, are you sure you want to publish this document? And you can go ahead and say yes. When you do allow this document to be published online, Google's going to give you lots of different options or availabilities to access this power or this presentation online. If you wanted to just send the link to somebody, they've got a document link. If you wanted to embed this into a blog or into a web page you maintain, or just give it to somebody else to then embed into one of their pages, you can actually click an embedding code. When you do embed it into another software for publication, you got to think about the presentation size, and by default it comes up as a medium size, which is it's a decent size to see online. You can also have it advance automatically. There's also a couple of buttons to check. Start slideshow as soon as the player loads, or restart the slideshow after the slide loads. So now that I've actually allowed it to be published online, it's out there, it's live, anybody can get to it that has either this link or this link to get there, or just stumbles upon it online there. So do be aware of that. If this is something that you don't want everybody to have, you really want to make sure you don't enable these particular publishing features. Having said that, I'm going to go ahead and stop publishing, and Google will go ahead and double check that I want to do that. And I'm going to go ahead and close this window for now. Other options that we've talked about already is the share. So when I click on share, it's going to open up the share window, and from here I can go ahead and add anybody I'd like to share this presentation with. Just like we had talked about last time in sharing, you can type in a name. As you start to type in names continuously, it'll start to autofill. This does already recognize the TLC HOXIERY, or I'm sorry, HOXIE at Gmail. You can give abilities, edit, comment, or view to the users you're sharing this with, and then you can share and save. And when you're done, go ahead and press done. And now you've got the ability to share this out there. If you're just going to use this as is, if you're going to go ahead and take your computer or open up on another computer, that's one of the beautiful things about using Google Tools is you don't have to work at one computer and then present with the same computer. You can work at one computer and present at any computer that has a network connection. If you're going to use Google Tools as the presentation, all you need to do is make sure you click on that View pull menu and jump right into Present. You can go ahead and present anywhere, anytime. Network connection is the only thing that you're going to make sure you need to have, and you're ready to present any information you've got. Now it's your turn to create a presentation. The next activity is going to have you create a presentation on any subject for any class or for a professional development that you're planning. Below the movies, there's a list of objectives, or there's a list of requirements I'd like to see in your presentation. Those are just to get you going in terms of playing with the different options and trying out the different things within Google Presentation. But the sky's the limit. I'd love to see what you have and are able to create.